Alright, so in this Unity beginner tutorial, we're gonna create an attack for the zombie. We're gonna create this attack inside our script that we created in the last tutorial. Okay, so let's just get started. So we have the zombie over here, and we're gonna go inside of the folder that you imported in the first tutorial. So over here you have the zombie and animations. So over here we have 3 animations. We're gonna select our zombie over here. We have the animator added over here. So just go under the animator window, and we're going to import the animations that we need. So first of all, we need the zombie attack. Then we need the zombie attack hit, and also we need the zombie midair. Alright, so all of these animations are going to be used when the zombie is attacking. So let's just check out the animation. So let's click on our zombie, and under animations, now we can go over here and we're going to select our animation. So for example, zombie attack, we can look at the animation. Let's go to the scene view and let's look at the zombie at the side. Right, so as you can see, this is the animations when the zombie actually starts attacking. So the way the zombie is gonna attack, it's gonna jump towards the player, and this animation is gonna start the jump. Then the next animation, zombie midair, is gonna be playing while the zombie is in the air. And the last animation, zombie attack hit, is gonna be when the zombie actually touches the player and it actually bites him. Alright, so let's go back to our animator window and let's just connect those animations first. So first of all, we're going to go under the any state and make a transition. Right click it, make a transition to the attack animation. And now click on the zombie attack animation, right click, make a transition towards the mid-air. And also click on mid-air and make a transition towards the zombie attack hit. Now right click over here also and go back to the idle animation. So click on the idle animation. So those are the transitions between the animations. We also have to add some parameters over here. So we're going to go over here under the parameter window, click on the plus and click on trigger. We're going to name this trigger attack start. And we're going to select this one over here, and first of all we're going to go under the settings here, and we're going to set the transition rotation to 0. Also we're going to scroll down, and under conditions we're going to click the plus button, and over here we're going to look for the attack start like this. Now go to the next transition over here. And over here we're going to set the exit time to 1, and also we're going to turn off the transition rotation to 0. We don't need any conditions over here because we have the exit time. So once that zombie attack animation finishes, it's going to automatically go to the mid-air animation. Now let's select the next animation over here. Over here we're going to set the transition rotation to 0, and over here we're going to add another trigger. So just click over here, add a trigger, we're going to name it attack hit like this. And now we're going to go over here and add a condition, and over here we're going to add the attack hit. So we trigger when we want the zombie to attack. Then once the attack animation is finished, it goes automatically in the mid-air because the zombie is in the air. And once the zombie actually hits the player, we're going to trigger this and go to the biting animation. Now let's also select this transition over here, and we're going to set this to 1 also. And transition rotation, we're going to set it to 0.01 like this. Alright, so this is going to be fine. Now let's go to our script that we created in the last tutorial. Double click it to open it. Now over here, if we look at the script, we have the distance. So here we measure the distance between the player and the zombie, and we're going to set the position where we want the zombie to attack the player. Over here we have the health of the player, so if the health is lower or equals 0, then the zombie dies. But over here we have the code when the zombie is alive. So here we have the code if the focus on the player is true, which gets set to true when the distance between the zombie and the player is lower or equals 6. We can set this to 10 now. We used 6 just for testing purposes. And over here, when the distance is smaller or equals 10, then focus on the player gets set to true, which means that this code is no longer going to run, and it's going to run this code now. So inside of this code we have, over here we have the rotation towards the player, and also the movement towards the player. So we're gonna attack the player over here based on distance. So first of all, let's create the if statement to measure the distance. So we want to attack when the distance is smaller than 5. So we're gonna type if distance is smaller than 5. Then inside of these brackets we're gonna create the code when the distance is smaller than 5. But if the distance is bigger than 5, then we want to follow the player. So the zombie is gonna run behind the player, so just copy this, cut this and paste it over here. Like this. You can also, if you have problems with the spaces like I do, you can select those and click on tab, and now everything is lined up. Alright, so now we're gonna go into the if the distance is smaller than 5, then we want to attack the player. So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna freeze the rotation. We're freezing the rotation so the player actually has a chance to dodge the zombie. So we're gonna type rb.angularVelocity equals new vector free. And inside of the vector free, we're gonna be freezing the rotation on x-axis, z-axis, and y-axis. Like this. Now in the next line of code, we're gonna increase the speed of the zombie. So when it jumps, it's actually gonna move faster than when it's running. So to do this, we're gonna use the movement that we used for the running. And over here, we're gonna type movement equals transform dot forward. And we're gonna multiply this by 20. So over here we multiplied it by speed, and the speed is, if you go under the unity and if you look at the zombie, you have the speed over here. So the normal speed is 6, but when the zombie actually attacks and jumps, the speed is gonna be 20. So in the next line of code, we're gonna go over here and we're actually gonna move the zombie. So over here, we're gonna type rb.linearVelocity equals new vector free. And over here, we're gonna use the x-axis and the z-axis of the movement of this calculation that we did over here. So we're gonna type movement.x, but for the y-axis, as you can see over here, for the movement, we used rb.linearVelocity.y. We use this in this line of code because this is running all the time and we want the gravity to work. So we used rb.linearVelocity.y for the gravity of the rigid body to still work. But over here, because we want the zombie to jump, we're gonna set this to 5. So by using 5 over here, the zombie is actually gonna jump in the air. Now in the next line of code, we also want to use the movement.z to actually move the zombie. Alright, so when the zombie attacks, we also want to have a delay. So when the zombie actually attacks, the zombie is actually gonna wait a few minutes before it starts following the player again. Also, by using a delay, this is also gonna run only once. Because if this line of code would run all the time when the distance is smaller than 5, means that the zombie would just fly out of the map. So we're gonna fix this by adding a delay. So we're gonna scroll up and here we're gonna add a delay. So we're gonna type private float attack delay equals 0. So in the start it's gonna be 0, and over here when the zombie actually attacks, we're gonna set it to 3. So we're gonna type attack delay equals 3. Alright, so this is gonna be fine. Now we're gonna go over here and we're actually gonna type the code to actually stop running this code when the delay is bigger than 0. So to do this, we're gonna type if attack delay is bigger than 0. Then we want to count down the delay, so we're gonna type attack delay equals attack delay minus time dot delta time. So we use delta time over here because we want to use the real time. If you use delta time and if you set this to 3, it's gonna take 3 seconds for the attack delay to actually reach 0. So over here we're gonna type else statement. In the else statement we want to actually cut this and paste the code over here. So if the delay is equals to 0 or lower than 0, then it's gonna run this code. Alright, so because the delay at the start is 0, this means that this code is gonna run all the time, but once the zombie actually attacks, it's gonna run this code, which is gonna set the attack delay to 3, which means that it's gonna start running this code for 3 seconds, until the attack delay actually reaches 0. Alright, so over here we're also gonna set the trigger to actually start the attack animation, so we're gonna type animator.setTrigger, and inside of the brackets we're gonna use these symbols and actually type the name. So the name is attack start, and we're just gonna copy this and paste it over here. Alright, so now if we save it, go back to Unity, press play, and if you go too close, it starts following us, and after it gets too close, it jumps to the player. It jumps, but we still haven't made the code to actually finish the animation. So we're gonna go back to our code, we're gonna scroll down, and we're gonna add a function below the update function. So this is the update function, as you can see, and it stops over here. Press enter over here, and over here we're gonna check if the zombie actually hit the player. So we're gonna type private void on collision enter. So this is a function that Unity automatically runs when two colliders collide with each other, so we can actually detect which object the zombie actually attacked. So over here we're gonna type collision and other. So the other object that the zombie actually touched is gonna be saved into the other, and over here we're gonna check the tag of it. So we're gonna type if other.gameObject.tag equals player. So if the tag of the game object that the zombie actually touched while attacking is player, we can take a look at the player over here. As you can see, the tag is player that we set in the previous tutorials. And over here, if this is true, if the tag of the other object is player, then we also want to check if the zombie actually touched the player while it's attacking. So over here we're gonna add a bool, so we're gonna type private bool is attacking, and we're gonna set it to false by default. And we're gonna set is attacking to true over here. So if the zombie actually attacks, we're gonna set the is attacking to true, like this. So over here we want to check if the zombie touched the player while it's attacking, so we're gonna type if is attacking is true. Then we're gonna run this code. So inside of this code we're gonna trigger the trigger to actually buy the player. So we're gonna type animator dot set trigger, and inside of these brackets we're gonna add these symbols and go back to Unity, select the zombie, select animator, and copy the attack hit. Copy it and paste the name over here. Alright, so when the zombie actually hits the player, we also want to set the is attacking to false because the zombie then stops attacking. So we're gonna type is attacking equals false, like this. Alright, so let's save the code and go back to Unity. Now press play, and if you go to the zombie, as you can see, the zombie attacks, but it's really slow animation. So we're gonna go over here, we're gonna stop the game, click on our zombie, click on animator, go to the zombie attack animation. We're gonna set this to 2, and the zombie hit animation to 2, like this. Maybe we can actually set it to 3, and let's see what we just did. We're gonna press play, go to the zombie. Okay, it's still a little bit too slow. We're gonna go to animator. Over here we're gonna set this also to 2, and maybe set this to 3, and also set this to 3, like this. Press play, and alright, we got the animation. Alright, so we're actually gonna set everything to 3.5 like this, and also this one, and also this one, like this. Now let's press play, go to the zombie, and this is gonna be fine. Alright, so we still have some problems. As you can see, once the zombie is in the delay, it starts spinning around and is actually still running. Alright, so to fix this, we're gonna go in our code and we're gonna scroll up, and over here while the delay is happening, and over here while the delay is running and the zombie actually finished the attack, we want to check if the attack is finished. So we're gonna type if is attacking is false. So if the attack is finished, and is attacking is false because it's set over here, so once the zombie actually bites the player, the attack is actually finished, and we want to freeze the position and rotation of the zombie. So over here we're gonna type rb.linearVelocity equals new vector 3, and over here we're gonna type 0 for the x-axis, rb.linearVelocity.y for the y-axis because we want the gravity to still work, and also 0 for the z-axis. Also we want to freeze the rotation of the zombie, so we're gonna type rb.angularVelocity and equals new vector 3, and we're gonna set everything to 0. So 0, 0, 0, like this. Okay, now let's save it, go back to Unity, press play. Okay, we forgot to actually disable the animation, so go back to the code. So once the zombie attacks, we're gonna set the is running to false. So we're gonna go over here and we're just gonna copy this and paste it over here, and we're gonna set this thing to false, like this. Save it, go back to Unity and press play, go close to the zombie, and as you can see, it's working now. Now it's in the idle animation. After 3 seconds it started attacking us and following us again. Alright, okay, but we still have a bug. So for example, if the player actually dodges the zombie, as you can see, the zombie glitches out. That's because the zombie never hit the game object with attack player. So when the zombie actually attacks, it jumps in the air, and for example, if it misses the player, it's gonna hit the arena collider. So we want to detect if the zombie actually hit the arena collider and finish the animation, which means that the zombie actually missed the player. So we're gonna go under the arena over here, and under tags, we're gonna add a new tag. Over here, we're gonna click plus, and we're gonna type arena. Save it, click on the arena again, and click on untagged, and select arena over here. Alright, so we have a tag arena over here, and the collider is over here. Alright, so we have the new tag arena over here. Now we can go back to the code, we can just copy this and paste it over here. And over here change it from player to arena, like this. Now delete the space over here, and in front of the if we also want to make else, like this. So else if the other game object that the zombie hit is arena, then we also want to stop the animation. Alright, so this is gonna be fine. Now let's save, go back to Unity, press play, go to the zombie, and when you dodge it, as you can see, it's actually in the idle animation, and then it starts running again. Alright, so this is gonna be fine. Alright, so this is going to be fine. Thank you so much for watching. If this helped you, please leave a like on the video, and in the next tutorial we're going to create health for the player and also some death animation, and also we're going to add UI for respawning the player. So if that's something you're interested in, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.